So this might be the first time I've done anything like this. I've had, sports writers, people from across the country on my show. I haven't had a former high school teammate of mine, friend of mine from high school, join me. I'm joined by now Jeff Schmidt. Follow him on, is it X or Twitter now? What are we calling it?
I still call it Twitter,
Same.
but I mean, when I'm writing an article or something, I'll put like formerly Twitter, just so people are like, "What the hell is X?" But
Yeah.
um, yeah, we'll go with X, I guess, for now.
Follow him on X at Schmidt Talking. He's the VP of the football website, footballalliance.com. We'll get more into that obviously later. Now, again, we've known each other since high school. We've reconnected recently, and I'm very excited to do this. Now, I remember when you and I first met, we played football together. We were quarterbacks at the time, and then I got changed to receiver because I
Yeah,
wasn't good enough as Jeff Schmidt was. Uh,
you were good,
so,
my man.
no, I wasn't good. Anyways, fine as receiver, though. Now, we met at like a quarterback meeting. I'm pretty sure it's the first time I met you. And I'm pretty sure I missed the very first meeting. I think I came in at the second quarterback meeting because I think remember Kyle Huff?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, "Hey, you weren't at the meeting." I was like, "I didn't know there was the meeting." So I
Oh,
showed up, and I learned a lot playing with you as a person and as a quarterback. And I remember I always like wanted to be like you. Now we
that's
also
awesome to
had,
hear.
well, I mean, you were like the standard. I don't know if has Gulf Coast High School had a great quarterback since you left?
I believe Caden Frost, I believe was his name. He was
Okay.
pretty good. I think he started as a freshman and
Oh,
played all 4 years, so he played pretty well. I don't know historically where they come in terms of like yardage and things like that. I think I still have the record for most yards in a season.
do
Um, I
you?
might not. I might not have career.
Yeah.
We'll have to find that out off the air. But I think I have the most yards um, in a single season. So I'll hold on to that for now.
Gulf Coast Sharks legend Jeff Schmidt. Dude, that's wild.
Yeah.
I don't think this has happened, but have we ever beaten Naples High School? Is it still?
No, still haven't beaten Naples. They almost beat them actually in the preseason game this year. I think it was like a one-score game or pretty close at the end, but it was preseason, so I don't know if that would have technically counted. I guess it would have just said we beat them, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah, we still never beat Naples. And that game, now that you bring that up, thanks for bringing up bad memories, Ryan.
Man, no
Um,
problem.
that game my senior year was still haunts me to this day.
I looked it up. I looked at the all-time like games. That game, double overtime, right?
Yep,
Like
yep.
that game is the closest we've ever come to beating Naples High.
And they had Carlos Hyde, who obviously had a nice career in the NFL. Juno Prunholm, he went on to play at Middle Tennessee. So they had some talent there.
Mhm.
We just couldn't get it done at the end. We were right there.
Ah, man, I remember watching that one, and I do remember then. So my senior year, we were thinking, yeah, man, we got them. We got them. We went down 21 to zip like the first quarter. It was like, oh, I don't
It
know
was
if we
over
got
before it
them.
started. Yeah.
Yeah, it was I mean, I think the game finished like 21 to 7. But we didn't have them, and did not feel good. Now, I know I posted a photo recently. My favorite high school photo I've had is me with Sammy Watkins on the ground. I'm like, I'm going to tell my grandkids about this whenever I have them one day. And I think one of the coolest photos I'll never forget from you from the newspaper is when you were, throwing, and Coach Tudrin, rest in peace, Coach Tudrin, was
Yes.
in the background, like watching you, like mentor mentee kind of thing. How cool! Like when we both played for Coach Tudrin. What did you learn from being, his quarterback when you played?
Yeah, that's a great question. First of all, that picture, that's one of my favorite pictures of all time too.
Yeah.
It's the photographer just did an excellent job with that. And I have that on my Facebook somewhere. Probably should have got that one framed or something. But Tudrin, he was amazing for me. He taught me. I always kind of had that hard work gene, I would say,
Mhm.
but he kind of pushed me a little bit even further to study. And I really didn't know the X's and O's coming into high school. I actually played receiver as a freshman because I was so tiny. think I was like 5'5" and weighed $135. So they didn't put me in at quarterback right away. And Tudrin actually said when I was a sophomore, he's like, I'd put you in, but I think child services would come and arrest me because you would just get your behind kicked back there. So then I finally grew and obviously started my junior and senior year. But I think Frank he had such a grasp coaching for so long. He never got frazzled. It was he always had faith in me. And I think that was a big thing, whether it was publicly through the newspapers or behind closed doors. He knew that I had faith. He had faith in me, even when I started off the season, my senior year, kind of slow. It wasn't the greatest start. I think we had like 150 yards of offense in our first game against Bell and Jesuit. And we won that game just because of the defense. Yeah. And we had some good opportunities in the red zone there. And then I think the second game against Immokalee, I barely threw for 100 yards. We still won the game. And then as the season went on, I started to get hot. And he just always had that kind of faith in me. And I'll never forget that from him. He was always great with my parents too. So it was obviously an honor to play for Frank, and his wife was amazing too. I haven't talked to her in a while, but Pam was great as well. So it was always great playing for Coach Tudrin.
It was, man. I'll never forget everything that I learned from him too. The 212, finished strong. Like I think when I started doing the podcast, I would like kind of open the show with like his famous line. We always said "Showtime."
Showtime. Yep.
Oh God!
I forgot one more thing. Elbow high too, because I would kind of keep my elbow a little low, getting all like cocky in the pocket, and he's like, "Schmitter, put your elbow up high." So,
elbow high, man. I know. That's what in that photo is like your elbow is really high.
My elbow's really high. Yeah.
Because coach is watching you. But yeah, man. R.I.P. Coach Tudrin. I know it's been 2010. I mean, my senior year was the last year he coached, and then he passed away shortly after from esophageal cancer. Correct?
Yes,
believe
correct.
That's what it was. I don't know how I thought about forgetting, but the life lessons, man, we learned from him is stuff that I still instill to myself to this day. Just being school was a big thing too. I know we've graduated. Yeah, like his thing was like school and then football.
And he just kind of one more point. He just kind of held us to a higher standard too. Like, hey, you're a football player. You got to be a leader in this school. And that I didn't want to let him down. That was kind of my big thing too. It was like, if I let Coach Tudrin down, that probably means I'm letting the entire school down and letting all my friends down. And we were able to be successful because of that. I think he kind of held us to that standard.
I remember first day of school, we always wore our jerseys. And at first I thought, because it was a luxury to wear the jerseys. Like, no, so the teachers knew who were the football players in the classroom. That way call them out and tell him, and like, great, now I got to do good in school. But I did okay in school, but some of us did really good, but he was a huge part of that. And I'll never forget. And then I love how you brought the X's and O's. I'll never forget the quarterback meeting we were in. He asked said, one of you guys draw cover 0. So no one else went up. So I drew cover 0, and I had my X's and O's like all wrong. He was
really?
He was like, put these as the X's, put these as the O's. And I was like, because I think I put the offense as the X's and put the defense as the O's. Because no, it's opposite. I go,
it's opposite. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, sorry. I was like a freshman going into my sophomore year quarterback, learning from the great Jeff Schmidt and Coach Tudrin. So now you worked at NBC, right?
Correct.
How long did you do that for?
I worked there for 2 years. Okay. When I got out of college, actually when I was still in college, I got a job with the Orlando Predators of the Arena Football League. So I was their director of media relations. I did that for about 1.5 years. And then the owner ended up losing the team to the league just because of financial stuff. So the league kind of eliminated my job. And then I moved back to Naples, got my real estate license, was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And then a good friend of mine, Chris Howland, I don't know if you remember him, his brother Steven.
Howland.
He was in my grade. Chris was a year older than me, so 2 years older than you.
Yeah.
But he actually worked at NBC, and he knew that I was very interested in getting back into the sports world. So he sent me a job offer that they were posting for the Olympic Games, for the Rio Olympic Games.
Wow.
I applied for it. The person who was hiring happened to be a huge Giants fan and a Mets fan. Him and I talked on the phone during an interview for like an hour and absolutely hit it off. And he offered me a spot the next day. And then next thing you know, I was moving up to Connecticut, and I was a affiliate producer. So basically, I worked with all of the local affiliates around the country, helping them implement their local ads during our live streams for Olympic Games. So I did that for 3 months, and they were so happy with my work, thankfully, that they offered me an extension to my contract. So that lasted like another year and a half. So I lived up there. I actually won an Emmy. It's in the other room. I don't want to.
I mean, you
Get
can
it,
go.
Unless you want me to go grab it real quick. I can
Hey,
show
man, that's
that
up
off
to
real
you.
quick.
I have no problem you showing it off.
But yeah, I will. I'll grab that in a second.
Sure.
But we actually won an Emmy for transmedia. We were one of the first to have a live event with commercials playing at the same time, and that was like kind of a big thing back then. So we won an Emmy. Our entire team won that, so I have one with my name on it. So that was pretty cool. And then towards the end of that contract, they were trying to find a home for me, and it kind of took a little bit too long. So I decided to move back down to Naples again and pursue a totally different career, which was firefighting. So
saving lives.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Well,
yeah.
Do you have any advice for anyone like that's looking to get into that field, like for working at embassy or wherever in that field? Do you have any advice?
I think you kind of have to start where I started, which was at the ground level, basically like in the Arena Football League or small minor league things. It's always, they don't pay really particularly well, or if at all, but it's just great experience to kind of see the behind the scenes things of how organizations and sports run. Like, for instance, we'll talk about it more later, I'm sure, with my website, Football Alliance. Like, if you can create your own blog or write for a website and kind of just get your ideas out there and published, you kind of have a space out there where you can show off your work and send it to people. I mean, without that job in the Arena Football League, I don't think I get the job at NBC, just because I had that role where I started as an intern, they hired me. And then I also had people underneath me. So it showed that I was in a leadership position. We were able to work for and above people. So as many opportunities as you can take, especially when you're in college, do that internship for the basketball team, the lacrosse team, the soccer team, whatever. And that'll eventually build up to where you want to be, whether it's football, basketball, or if you want to stay in those sports. So just
awesome.
As many opportunities as you can take them.
Any opportunity. I remember I worked, my last year, I worked for like a sports website. It's called iSportsWeb, no longer around. Wrote for the Detroit Tigers, Indianapolis Colts. And I think like 5 years after I stopped writing articles, I saw that somehow one of my articles got thrown onto like Fox News, like Fox Sports. Wow. Yeah, Fox Sports. I was like, damn it. Like, I wish I would have known. I would have been using this like down the road, Like,
absolutely.
Look at me. Yeah. No, but like I said, when there's opportunities come up, man, just take them whenever you can. I like that. Now, UCF. See the hats? Your Knights. First off, I'm very sorry about the games past few weeks, especially the comeback that, I'm not even gonna lie. I did not know about the comeback that they gave up until my coworker showed me. He goes, "Did you see?" I said, "I saw they lost." He goes, "No, you didn't see how they lost."
Yeah.
Okay. I won't dwell on that game, but when it comes to UCF, this is their first year in the Big 12. It's a tough conference, especially right now. Texas and Oklahoma are there, but they're going to be leaving.
Yeah,
we've seen teams in the past leave, conferences, and especially Big 12. I saw Mizzou go to SEC. Haven't done much. This is probably their best start so far since being in the SEC. We've seen Nebraska go to the Big 10. They suck. Haven't done anything. They really haven't done anything since Bo Pelini was fired, actually. Ever since then, they've been absolute garbage. And now UCF, not the best start. It's the very first year in the Big 12, but it's not their best start. As a fan base, as a Michigan fan, I haven't experienced this, so I don't know how fan bases feel this way. As a fan base as UCF, how long, like how much patience does a fan base of joining a new conference have when you're maybe, let's just say 5 years from now, UCF, I don't see it happening. I want to make the record clear. Let's just say though, they don't make a lot of progress and maybe like mid-tier the pack or even below. And you're like, man, maybe do we make the right move going to the Big 12? Should we stay in the AAC? How long do you guys have patience in the Big 12 before you realize maybe we should not have left? Do you think?
It's tough because coming into this year, I thought that we had a really good opportunity to just come in there and kind of shock the world and maybe be third or fourth place in the Big 12. And obviously that hasn't happened. But I would say probably year 3 is where you're like, all right, this thing needs to start rolling or we're kind of in trouble. One thing Gus Malzahn, our head coach, has done really well is recruit. We currently have a top 25 class for this upcoming season. I think with us going to the Big 12, that's only helped our recruiting that much more. And it's going to take a few years for us to build the depths of the Kansas States, the TCUs, Oklahoma State, even though they're having kind of a down year. Texas Tech, you've seen what they've kind of done recently. I don't want to jump to conclusions this year and be like, hey, this is a total failure. I kind of expected a 6 to 7 win season, but when we started off 3-0, I was like, hey, the sky's the limit. And now we've kind of just like crashed down. But to answer your question, I would probably say year 3, if Gus doesn't have us kind of contending or, pulling a 9-win season here, then we're kind of in trouble. But I don't regret us leaving the AAC one bit. We're kind of in that realm of college football now where if you're not in the big boy league, you're probably going to get left out. Even you see with Oregon State and Washington State, like those 2 schools have been Power 5 schools for I don't even know how long, and they're kind of on the outside looking in. So UCF's really going to have to play well in order to cement themselves kind of in that upper tier echelon when it comes down to it here in the next few years. I see a lot more changes coming. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think our future's bright. Right now we have a freshman, John Walker, who was a top 100 recruit last year. He's at the halfway point of the season. On3 named him as an All-American. So we have the pieces there, the young pieces. I think it's just going to come down to development and depth for us.
Do you have? I know you guys play Oklahoma this weekend, who's coming off a very big win against Texas. Do you have a score prediction for that game?
Thankfully, we're on a bye this week. It's actually.
Oh my God, I had that wrong. Yeah, okay.
It's okay. Oklahoma's on a bye too, I believe, after their huge win.
That's what I saw. Okay.
So Gus Malzahn has kind of always been able to rise up to the level of competition, I think. But it's funny because Dylan Gabriel, who I have as my dark horse Heisman contender right now, especially looking at their schedule for the rest of the season, he was actually at UCF, played the first year under Gus Malzahn, got hurt, and then ended up transferring. I think he's going to be coming out for vengeance. I know a lot of UCF Night Nation has kind of thrown him under the bus, the Gus bus, so to speak. Sorry for the corny dad joke pun.
I'm all for them, man.
Yeah, but I think he's going to come out guns a-blazing, going to be throwing it all over the yard against us. Our secondary and defense has not been great this year. I would not be surprised if Oklahoma's in the 50s against us. It's kind of hurt us this year because John Rice Plumlee, our starting quarterback, got hurt against Boise, and he came back against Kansas, but then limped off after 2 plays. So I don't want to discredit our season just because of that. But if he can come out and if we can control the clock a little bit and not have these 3 and outs that we've been having, we could probably keep it close. I don't even know what the spread's going to be for that. It'll probably be in the 20s, I would imagine. But if I had to give you a score, I'll say 56-28 Oklahoma.
Okay. I hope for me and for you, I hope it's close because I know Dylan Gabriel, he's like you said, he's probably going to come out for revenge and, try and tear apart UCF. but I think it's going to be closer than that. I think it's going to be, I would say 42-28. I think UCF, because I like Gus Malzahn. I think he is a good coach, and I think he can, like you said, he can push UCF, especially with this bye week coming up. Like you mentioned, I didn't even know about the bye week, but now that you mentioned it, give them an extra week to get prepared for this team, get healthy, get some guys back as well. So I like Gus. I think it's a closer game. I think UCF could rise up and at least keep it a close game and try and beat that spread. So let's talk about your Giants though. Not having the best start to the season either. One win, they're 1-4.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And that one win was against the Cardinals, and they almost blew that too.
Yeah, that one had to come back. I remember it. I was, jeez. So I don't think there's one thing to blame for this team. But I think the biggest thing right now to me is the offensive line play. I think the offensive line for the Giants is just playing garbage. And even Evan Neal came out and said that the people that were criticizing him first are probably ones flipping burgers and stuff. I don't know what he's talking about. I mean, I've criticized him. I'm not flipping burgers, but there's also people like, I don't know what he's doing. There was a play where I saw on X that he wasn't blocking anybody. So what's your take on the Giants overall, especially the offensive line?
The offensive line's just been putrid, to say the least. I know Andrew Thomas has been out, which is obviously huge on the left side. John Michael Schmitz, who we got in the second round from Minnesota, he's been okay.
Yep.
But Evan Neal's just been downright awful. There's no other way to put it. Daniel Jones is literally getting pressured on every single drop back. We don't have a number one receiver either. It's a bunch of probably C-plus guys that would be the third receiver on any given team, which is not helping either. It's just been a kind of a smorgasbord, for lack of a better term, of things going wrong on the offensive side. And the defensive side, we can't tackle. So I think we need another pass rusher. Our secondary has been pretty weak too. It's just, you kind of point to every phase of the game and there's some glaring issue that's going on. I really like Brian Daboll. I don't think this is his fault at all. And I like Joe Shane too, the GM. I think he's tried to invest in the areas of need. Things just haven't really panned out right now. And you can go back and check my Twitter takes. I've never really been a fan of Daniel Jones. I don't think this is all his fault, but if we ended up drafting in the top 5 this year, I would not mind going after a Drake May or a Caleb Williams if that opportunity arose, even though we're kind of locked into this huge contract right now. So I don't think things really get much easier this week for the Giants. Jones is dealing with a neck injury.
Yep.
And we go to Buffalo to take on the Buffalo Bills, who are obviously amazing at home. So I really don't see things getting much better. With Barkley being out too, it's been really tough. So I'm not going to write the season off completely just yet, but things are not looking good right now at the moment for the Giants.
Is it a primetime game?
It is. And
Okay.
I feel like we play it on primetime every week, which I'm sorry to the American public for having to deal with this.
If it, I'm just going to say this right now. If it is a massacre, if it's not a competitive game, I am going to petition for the 4th, because they have one more primetime game after this. I'm pretty sure they do. They have 4 this season. I'm going to petition for the last primetime game to be moved somewhere else, to be moved to 4 o'clock or 1 o'clock, or they just turn off the TV and don't even show it.
Yeah, I think the NFL needs to just adopt flex scheduling completely for Sunday nights.
Yep.
Because, for instance, when Aaron Rodgers got hurt, I mean, now we're going to have the Jets and prime. I mean, the Jets actually looked good last week. I apologize, Zach Wilson and Breece Hall. Breece Hall won me my fantasy game this week.
Hey, there
Sorry.
you go.
Sorry, bud. But to have them in prime time this much is just downright not good for America. So
yeah, it's a crime. I should sue them or something.
You should.
Well, I mean, my thing is this. I mean, I'm a Colts fan. You know that.
Yes.
How the Colts didn't get any primetime games with a young Anthony Richardson, could like not one to show everybody what this kid is. Granted, he's hurt, so I get that now, but they didn't like say, you know what, let's put him on a primetime game so people can see, is he good? Is he not? I don't know. Like that would
especially early in the season. Why not get him on there?
Right. I thought it would have been cool. Like the closest thing I got was a preseason game with the Eagles. Like whatever. But like I didn't get anything from them. And now he's hurt. I'm kind of bummed. I'm kind of sad. But we're 3-2 with Gardner Minshew.
Minshew Mania, who actually trains down here in Bonita Springs.
Does he really?
Do you remember Anthony Tumbarello?
Oh yeah.
He owns CPT down here, and him, Matt Milano, and a bunch of other NFL guys train here in the off season. So Gardner is actually, I kind of adopted him as a 239 son. He's he does his work here in the off season, so it's kind of something pretty cool.
That is what's up, man. Good little plug by you right there too.
Yeah,
CPT. That's what's up. But Tumbarello. Yeah, God, that's another memory of another player.
Yeah.
So you're not a Daniel Jones fan?
I never have been. When we drafted him 6th overall, I was with my uncle, and we were both kind of lost it during the draft process. Last year, he definitely changed my mind a little bit. I was like, hey, maybe I'm not giving this guy a fair shake. But again, we don't have a top tier target. Darren Waller was supposed to be that. I think he's like, in terms of fantasy, I think he's still like the 6th ranked tight end in terms of like targets. Don't quote me on that, but he really hasn't been much of a factor, in my opinion, for all the hype he got in the offseason. And then with Barkley out, it's a bunch of guys that, like I said, could be third string guys everywhere else. So I can't really put all the blame on Daniel, but I'm not really the biggest Daniel Jones fan. I'm not, no.
How long was his contract extension for again?
4 years and I believe 160 million. So yeah.
Seeing your eyes roll, I couldn't tell if you were like just trying to think off the top of your head. You're like, my God, 4 years.
Yeah. Well, that's a long time. I was trying to, what are we, 2023? Yeah. 2027? That's a long time.
Dang.
But
so you mentioned Saquon too. Now, I want to kind of get your thoughts on this as well with the running back market, right? Saquon signed a 1-year deal. Josh Jacobs as well. Jonathan Taylor recently signed a 3-year deal. For me as a Colts fan, I'm fine with it because we're getting that deal while AR is on his rookie contract. So it kind of works itself out a little bit. But running backs, if you look at the last 14 Super Bowl winners, the highest paid running back made $5 million. Like paying running backs does not always lead to success. Now, this year might change because McCaffrey's on the 49ers. In my opinion, the 49ers are the top team right now in the NFL. I cannot find a weakness in this team. Like, excuse me, from everywhere, from receiver, tight end, defense, like even Brock Purdy he's just doing what he has to do. He has the cheapest contract you can have in an NFL draft, and he's your starting quarterback. Like he is the dude. He has not lost a game that he's finished. Like he is undefeated as a starting quarterback in the NFL.
It's incredible.
It's incredible. And now if the 49ers do win this year, McCaffrey will break that streak. He's one of the highest paid running backs in the league, and I hope he's healthy by then. Do you see this running back market though continuing to happen where it's like, listen, we're just not going to pay you? Because personally, for me, I wouldn't pay a running back that much. I just think that I would build everything else and then get the running back. Like, what says you?
I absolutely agree, especially when you look at Zach Moss last week. I mean, the guy put up almost 200 yards.
Why did we sign JT? Why did we sign him?
I mean, it's unbelievable what these guys do. And then you have these rookies that come in, like Bijan. I mean, I know they drafted him in the top 10 first round. And then Devin Achane, right? I think the other week he was mad that people were calling him A-Chain, or not mad. He just said corrected. I think it's A-Chin now. I think. I always kind of, I don't know. Pronunciations are not my best, not my strong suit. But anyway, he's having a great year, and then he gets hurt too. So it's just a very volatile position in terms of injuries. You see J.K. Dobbins, poor guy. He just got the short end of the stick. But yeah, unless you're like a McCaffrey or Bijan, we'll see how he is in 3 or 4 years. It's kind of hard to pay all this money for these guys when you can have a guy come in, draft them in the 5th round, and they can kind of ball out for you for 2 years, and you kind of repeat the cycle. I hate saying that because I love the running back position. I love these guys. They work their tails off.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just really not worth paying these guys. And I kind of see this happening for the foreseeable future, unless you're just like an all world talent that can do everything, pass pro. It's another big thing. If you can pass protect, if you can be out there on 3rd down, if you can catch the football like a McCaffrey or a Saquon or some of these guys, then you should get paid. But I don't know. It's just tough.
And it's a passing league. Like we are in a passing league now where, like you said, it's better just to be a little scat back running back that can catch the ball because you're passing the ball more now. And I'm one of these guys that's like, again, I'd build my offensive line first with the best I can, get my quarterback because I want it's like a car. Like I want the insurance. I want the nice car. I want to protect it with the insurance. Like I want to make sure I have everything there. And then the running back, it's just an accessory, just a nice little add-on. I don't know, nice little muffler to make it sound better. I don't know because it's like I said, running backs, and it's sad because I know they're players too. They work hard to try and get to the NFL, but it's sad to say, but it's true. Like we are in a league that we are just no longer focused on paying running backs, and I could not pay them at the end of the day.
Can't do it. And that's why I think Saquon probably regrets not taking the deal that the Giants gave him in the offseason. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was a pretty good offer and pretty close to what he's making annually now. So with his injuries this year, I don't know if he can really command that again unless he just absolutely goes off in the second half of the season. But
Zeke ruined it too. Your rival. Zeke ruined it. Once they signed him, he was downhill after his rookie year, but once they signed him, he was really downhill.
Yeah.
So I said we would do NFL picks. Do you want to do like this? Do you want to do against the spread or you want to just do head to head? I'm letting you pick.
Ooh. I actually had a really good week. I was in Jersey this weekend for a wedding, and I was able to bet basically legally.
Yep.
So I won a nice little parlay. That was just straight up, and then I had the 49ers minus 2.5. So I won a nice little chunk.
It was 49ers minus 2.5 against the Cowboys.
It was 3.5, but I bought it down to 2.5. Just
easy
because
win.
You could. I was like, why not? I shouldn't have bought it, but it was a point. So I'm like, let me just do it in case, it's a field goal game. But I'll go. We'll go straight up.
Straight up.
We'll try to have a good record here.
Okay. I'm honestly, you may have some favorite matchups. So let's start with Thursday night. I feel like this is a no-brainer, but it's Chiefs and Broncos at Kansas City.
Yeah, easy choice. We're going KC.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised if Mahomes throws for 400 yards this week.
Do you think they blow it up in Denver?
I feel like Sean Payton wants to.
Yeah.
Especially after those comments to Hackett before the season. I think he was kind of setting the table, a little foreshadowing there that he kind of wants to tear the whole thing down and kind of restart it. I think they can get out of the Russell Wilson deal at the end of the offseason.
Can they?
I think they can. It's going to be probably a hefty cap hit next year, but then after that, I think they can get out of it. So I think he'll try to start over and see if they can get a rookie quarterback this upcoming year.
This draft's loaded with them. I mean, the guys that come out are expected to come out. This draft is going to be a great draft for quarterbacks.
Absolutely.
Russell Wilson, he's no longer cooking. He is doo-doo. Yeah, I'm with you. Chiefs as well. It says 10.5 too. I think they cover that easy. The next
we can do both if you want. I mean,
let's do it.
I'll take the Chiefs 10.5 too.
Let's do that. I mean, you're a winner, man.
Why not? Yeah, let's do it.
You're a winner. Let's go both. So, okay. So Ravens and Titans. It's an international series. I forgot where they're playing this one. Is this the one they play down in Mexico? No, that can't be it.
I think it's in London.
Hotspur.
Again.
Yeah, London. Jesus. Yeah. Hold on, really quick. Do you think we should have an NFL team in London?
Absolutely not.
Thank you.
It's just, I don't want to even get into it too much, but it's just the logistics are a complete nightmare. If we could fly there in 2 hours, okay. But no. Play all the games you want over there. That's fine. I'm all about growing the game. But I don't think we should have a team there.
Be the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
No international teams except maybe Canada, and I don't even think they should get a team.
I agree. I think the only one that would is Toronto, because I think that fan base is fantastic there. Yeah. Now, so again, Ravens and Titans. Ravens are 4-point favorite right now.
The Ravens have to bounce back. That was an ugly game against the Steelers.
Yep.
With the Ravens being favorited, I actually read a stat this morning. It was Derrick Henry doesn't play as well when the Titans are underdogs. When they're favorites, you can expect Derrick Henry to go off. That was from Warren Sharp. Yeah, really interesting stat. I'm going to use that for DFS too in the future. But I'm going to take the Ravens, and I'll take them minus the 4 as well.
Me too. I like that one. Titans. Ryan Tannehill. I don't know how much longer he's got left. He is. Yeah.
Here's a quick interesting take too. With the Falcons kind of struggling throwing the ball, I would love to see Arthur Smith kind of maybe throw a late round pick at the Titans for Tannehill. If the Titans keep on losing, just because they have that chemistry.
Yeah.
I think that could kind of do wonders for their passing game. Just a random thought there.
I like that thought. I mean, give Will Levis a chance to start, or
exactly
Malik
see what they got.
Yep.
Exactly.
Another one. My Colts against the Jags. It's in Jacksonville. Gardner Minshew making his start against the Jags. What says you?
I'm Brian with the Colts. Not just because you're here.
Thanks.
I mean this wholeheartedly. You got to think the Jags have been in London for the past 2 weeks. You have to think that coming back, they're going to be a little tired. Mm-hmm. Gardner Minshew knows how to play in Jacksonville. He's obviously familiar. Colts are kind of rolling right now, I think, and I'm going to take them. What's the spread on that?
4.5 Jags favorite.
Oh, 4.5. Yeah. I'm taking the points all day with the Colts there.
I would too. I think. I mean, I joked around this. I've been on multiple shows. I've joked around that he'll throw for 800 yards and 7 touchdowns or something like that, vice versa. Like Gardner Minshew. I mean, I like the Colts in this one too. I think that I'm very surprised that Jacksonville being there for 2 weeks, they were not given a bye week after being in London for 2 weeks. I thought they would have. I thought usually they get the bye week with a team that travels to London to come back. I thought they would have that, but very surprised. So yeah, I like the Colts in that favor too. Give me the points as well there. Commanders against the Falcons in Atlanta. Falcons favored by 2.5. I got to present this better. I'm doing a horrible job presenting this.
Oh no, you're fine. Washington actually had a good offensive output last week. Like I said, I think the Falcons they're tough at home. They came back and beat the Texans this past weekend. I'm going to take the Falcons. I don't like this at all. But I will take the Commanders plus 2.5. I think it could come down to a field goal late again this week where the Falcons have the ball last and they're somehow able to get down the field and kick a game-winning field goal. So I'll go Falcons and then Commanders with the points.
I'm going to go against that. I'm going to go with Washington to win this game outright too. So obviously I'll take Commanders and the points there. Killed that bug. Nice job.
Yes.
Way to go. Now, because I think Sam Howell, I know he's struggled. God, who did he just play recently? Why am I forgetting this game? What was the last game that he played on Thursday night?
I'm trying to think of it too. The Bears.
The Bears, that's right. He did struggle a little bit against the Bears. Came back a little bit. I did like him coming out of UNC. I think he needs more time. And I think this is a great time for him. Atlanta, like you said, not throwing the ball well. Bijan Robinson is a beast, though. That dude is such a good pickup. But I do like Washington to win this one outright. Give me them and the points, obviously.
Okay.
Seattle travels to Cincinnati. Bengals are a 3-point favorite.
Great to see Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase kind of get back to their normal selves this weekend against Arizona. I think Geno Smith's still dealing with the knee injury. Always tough to travel to the East Coast, even though they've played pretty well actually on the East Coast recently. But I'm going to take the Bengals, and I'll take the -3.
Could not agree more. I think the Bengals are starting to roll. Burrow's getting more healthy. Give me them minus, obviously with the -3 as well. The Panthers travel to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Dolphins are a 13.5-point favorite.
The Dolphins are awesome right now. I don't see anybody stopping them really on offense at this point, and the Panthers look absolutely putrid.
Yep.
On the offensive side of the ball, which is a shame. I wonder if they're kind of regretting trading that pick now. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to actually take the Dolphins, and I know these large spreads kind of are a little catch-22, but I'm going to take the Dolphins.
And the points as well, or no?
And the points, yeah.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, that 70-point outing against the Broncos at one time scared
I know.
me.
It's just in the back of my head. Are they going to put up 70 against the Panthers too? I don't know.
Do you think – I mean, I know Bryce Young hasn't looked the best right now. What do you think about him so far?
I think he has the tools, but again, just like Daniel Jones and the Giants, they traded their number one receiver, DJ Moore, and you kind of see what he's doing with Justin Fields now. They're starting to get that chemistry. So the Panthers had a number one target. I mean, Adam Thielen's playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
Gotta love it, respect it, love that guy.
Yeah.
But they need another alpha receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm going to give Bryce Young the benefit of the doubt. But then you look at a guy like C.J. Stroud, who's absolutely balling. So we'll see what happens. But I'm a fan of Bryce Young as of this moment.
Also, let me ask you one more thing about Desmond Ridder for Atlanta. What do you think they're going to do? Like, let's just say they kind of finished like 7-10, 8-9, missed the playoffs. What do you think they do?
They got to go get another quarterback. I mean,
I agree.
It's sad watching Kyle Pitts and Drake London being undervalued, underused. Like I said, let's say the Vikings, they go 1-6 and we're at the trade deadline. Let's say Kirk Cousins in Atlanta, or let's say Ryan Tannehill. Maybe they make the move in the middle of the season. I like Ridder as a person. I think maybe he can catch on somewhere, but I just don't see him as the long-term starter there.
I don't either. This is a kind of a sad matchup because I did not expect both teams to be this way right now. The Vikings head to Chicago and takes on the Bears, both 1-4. Vikings are a 2.5-point favorite.
I am actually going to take the Bears in this one.
Yeah.
In both regards. The Bears, I mean, that game the other night was amazing with Moore going off. I think Fields is kind of figuring it out. I know their running back situation is a little murky this week with Herbert probably not playing. And then I know Roschon Johnson was in the concussion protocol, so we'll kind of see if he goes. But I think the Bears actually have some newfound confidence with Jefferson going on IR.
Yep.
I think that kind of hurts the Vikings. And with Kirk playing in prime time, he's never really been a prime time QB. So I'll take the Bears as the home underdog.
He is horrible in prime time. Like, there's just something about being on TV is like, I'm not good. Like, it's weird. But yeah, I'm the same way. I think the Bears last week against Washington got some confidence in themselves. And a running back is a little bit of concern, but Justin Jefferson not being there for the Vikings is a major concern for them. So I like Chicago outright winning with the 2.5 points as well. San Francisco heads to Cleveland to take on the Browns. I don't know. I think Deshaun Watson's playing. I think
he's day to day. I think I saw it this morning.
What do you? San Francisco is a 5-point favorite to win.
So this one's really interesting to me. Everything points to like, oh yeah, San Francisco is going to blow them out, but Cleveland's defense is pretty awesome.
They're stout.
And if Deshaun Watson plays, I could kind of see this being a really low-scoring game where Cleveland kind of hangs around a little bit. If this were Thursday and we knew Deshaun Watson would be out, I would say I'm going to go under the impression that Deshaun Watson's playing. I'm going to take the 49ers, but I'm actually going to take the Browns with the 5 points.
I'm the same way. If I knew, it's hard to tell, but yeah, I'm going to go with assuming that Watson's playing. I do like the Browns keeping it close, so I'll do the same thing as you. San Francisco winning, but Browns keeping it close. So Browns with the 5 points. I'll go with that. New Orleans heads to Houston, and Saints are a 1.5 point favorite. So basically a toss up, really.
Yeah. The Saints obviously played really well last week in New England.
I feel like a lot of people playing really well.
I think everybody's, I think New England's kind of a punching bag right now. And one makes you think if Bill Belichick may be tanking this season to get a top quarterback. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Probably not. I don't think he
deep down Belichick's like, I'm
deep down he's like, I don't see that being in his DNA, but he could have some evil genius behind him. But I'm actually going to roll with the rookie and the Texans on this one. I'm going to take them winning and with the points. I don't know if that's surprising to you, but I have a feeling about them.
That's not, as much as I hate Ohio State, whenever they get to the NFL, I flip on, my NFL mode. I mean, he did play for Houston, so I do hate Houston. But yeah. I am going to go with the Saints in this one, and I'll take them with obviously the points 1.5. I think that somehow, but I do think it's a close game. I think that they squeeze it out somehow, maybe like a last-second field goal or something. Because I like how Houston's playing; they're playing really well with CJ Stroud. He's playing great too. So I'm going to go with the Saints in a close one. Now we just talked about them, the Patriots. Horrible. Okay, first off, I want to ask you a thought here with Belichick because we talked about him just now. It's such a weird situation for him because he's got the 6 rings. And you can't, it's like, you can't just go and like fire the guy. Can you? Like, or do you just kind of like have the conversation? Like, I think you just kind of have the conversation. Listen, Bill, it's not working anymore. You don't have Brady. He's not walking through that door. Mac Jones, I know, I want to believe in Mac Jones. I'm just not believing in him anymore. It's hard for me to believe in him. What do you think the Patriots should do? Because, I mean, this year is kind of a wash, in my opinion.
It's so tough. Because, and like I feel like college, these coaches kind of have like Nick Saban has a lifetime contract. Whenever he wants to step down, it's like, all right, go ahead, bud. In the NFL, it's kind of different unless you're like a Steelers coach or Belichick. Even now, I think Kraft, he has obviously a high expectation, but things haven't gone well since Brady has left. So I think maybe they have that conversation at the end of the year, like you just said, hey, maybe I kind of want to go a different direction, or are you willing to step down? I don't think Kraft would ever straight up fire him. I think Belichick would have to agree to that. But it would be interesting to see if maybe one of these jobs opens up at the end of the year where a team was expected to go to the playoffs and they just had like a down year with an injury or something. To where Belichick said, yeah, I'll leave. And then he goes to another team and kind of just tries to prove one last time that he doesn't need Tom Brady to win something. So I kind of really don't know what to expect. If I was going to bet on it, I would say he'd be back next year. Yeah. But if he was gone, it really wouldn't surprise me either.
Like maybe Chargers coach Staley. I don't know.
Because
I think he's kind of in this, like, either you make the playoffs and do something or you're gone. Like,
don't even get me started on Coach Staley.
I will not.
Yeah.
Belichick, man, it's such a weird thing because it's like, what do you do? But let's go into the game. The Patriots take on the Raiders. Obviously, Coach McDaniels used to coach with Belichick. Raiders are a 3-point favorite coming off the win against the Packers last night.
Now, is that game in Vegas?
It's in Las Vegas.
It's in Vegas. Okay. I'm going to take the Raiders. They had a nice win last night. I wouldn't say nice. It was kind of an ugly game, but they did get the win.
Yeah.
Just the way the Patriots are playing right now, McDaniels knows kind of Belichick. That game last year was wild. I don't know if you remember that one where Jacoby Myers threw that ball back and
dude.
And now he's on the team.
I forgot. So you just said that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take the Raiders. I think Max Crosby kind of has that defense kind of rolling right now, and I think he forced a couple ill-advised plays from Mac Jones. So I'll go Raiders on the points.
Me too. Honestly, I think all the Raiders got to do is kick like 2 or 3 field goals and they'll be fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just seems like the Patriots aren't going to score touchdowns anymore.
Exactly.
Now, I'm in love with the Lions right now. I'm a Colts
Same.
fan, but dude, they are just so fun to watch.
It's awesome.
I love what Dan Campbell's doing. Love the culture he's instilled there. Like, they're great. They take on Tampa in Tampa, and the Lions are a 3-point favorite. What says you?
So don't tell my fiance this
I
because
won't.
she's a diehard Bucks fan, and we're getting married in almost a month here. But I have to take the Lions. But you know what? I'll take the Bucks with the points. I think it might be closer than people think.
Mhm.
But the Lions are just playing so well right now. Their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, he's been incredible. And if you're a high school coach out there, I don't know how you don't just watch the Lions film and kind of take plays for them. I don't know if you saw that play where Goff was almost under center and they snapped the ball to the running back.
Yep.
Just like crazy stuff that we've never seen before he's doing right now.
Mhm.
They did it all without St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs last week. So I think the Lions will play extremely well, but I think Tampa's kind of still underrated, even though they're 3-1 and coming off a bye. I think they'll keep this one at least close.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think Tampa keeps it close, but I do like the Lions to win this one. They're just so fun, man. Like that, like you said, if you're a high school coach, how are you not watching and seeing the creativity of what they're doing every week? And
Yeah,
I remember when Campbell was hired, people were probably like laughing and seeing like that they weren't believing him. I was like, just give the guy some time. And sure enough, look where they are now.
now he's biting kneecaps. So
But
he's doing what he said he was going to do.
he sure is. Now, Cardinals head to LA to take on the Rams. I can't tell if it's going to be a home field advantage or not for the Rams because I feel like every game in LA, there's like always opposing fan bases, but I don't know who's a fan base of Arizona right now because they're not that good this year. But they are the Rams are a 7-point favorite to win.
So now with Cooper Kupp back,
Yeah.
I think the Rams are actually kind of a sneaky team that could make some noise.
Yep.
Kyron Williams has been awesome at running back. And now with Kupp, I saw a report today that they might try to trade Van Jefferson.
Yep.
He hasn't really played, but they don't really need him because they have Puka and Tutu. So I like the Rams, but the Cardinals have really played well, despite everyone saying they were just going to be the league's worst team this year. I think they put up a lot of fight. I like Josh Dobbs, but I see the Rams actually kind of running away with this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think Stafford has his best game of the year, and I'll take the Rams on the points.
Me too. I think Cooper Kupp being back, more fun for Stafford, more points for the Rams, and more fun for Sean McVay too. So yeah, I'm gonna go Rams outright. Eagles head to New York to take on the Jets, or New Jersey because they don't play in New York. Now, Eagles are a 7-point favorite against Zach Wilson and the Jets.
So that one kind of surprises me that it's not a little bit more.
Me too.
Just because
I think Vegas knows something.
This is where it gets me. It's only at 7, so I'm going to take the Eagles to win. But the Jets kind of have a little swagger right now, and if they can get Breece Hall going, they might be able to keep it close. They kept it close with the Chiefs at home, so I'm going to take the Jets with the points.
You mean the
with the spread, but I'm gonna take I'm gonna take the Eagles to win, but I'll take the +7 with the Jets.
The Taylor Swifts, man. I'm the Taylor Swift thing's getting a little much. Whatever.
Thank God she wasn't at that game in Minnesota. That would have just yeah.
Like I remember seeing ticket prices go up. They know she's not performing, right? Like she's not going to be singing there. She's just.
What do you want to do? Get a video on your phone of her in the press box? Like
yeah, just record it on TV. They're going to show them about 15 times.
Yeah.
So, I'm right there with you. I think somehow, like you said, that Chiefs game, I was like, wow, look at Zach Wilson just do fantastic. And he actually didn't even play that bad last week either. He did fine. There were some plays that I know he liked to have back, but he did okay. And I mean, it was Denver, so like whatever. Wait, was it Denver? Who did they play last week?
Yeah, they played Denver.
Yeah, Denver. Why? Yeah, Nathaniel Hackett's comeback, man. It's Tuesday. I'm still waking up. I know it's 1:00 in the afternoon, but I'm still waking up. But yeah, I like Jets keeping it close. I like Philly still winning outright. But Jets keep it close because I think somehow Zach Wilson just plays a pretty solid game against the Eagles. This is what we talked about before. Your boys, the Giants. Have you seen the spread? It's out.
I have not. Is it worse than the Panthers and Dolphins?
Yeah.
Oh my God. What
It's
is it,
14?
Oh,
14.
yep.
It's Buffalo 14-point favorite at Buffalo.
If I was betting, I'd probably buy it down to 13.5 just to be safe.
Sure.
Buy that half point. But I will go obviously Buffalo. I just don't see the Giants mustering anything, and I'm gonna take the Bills with the 14. I have to. Daniel Jones is coming up. There's a neck injury going on right now. They said he's probably going to play, but he's one hit away from Tyrod Taylor coming in. Love Tyrod as a person.
Yeah.
Thought he's had a great NFL career, but if he's playing and we don't have Barkley, let's just say, could get ugly up in actually New York.
Yeah. Well, actually playing in New York.
Yeah.
The battle for New York.
Yeah.
Man, unfortunately, I want the Giants to keep this close because, again, I want a Giants primetime game to be good.
Same.
It's hard for me. Like you point out everything, Saquon not being there. We don't even know if Daniel Jones does play. Like you said, he's one hit away from not being there anymore, at least for the game. God, and Buffalo is looking pretty decent right now. I know they come off a close game against Jacksonville. They lost in London, but Jags lived there for 2 weeks. Buffalo just got there and played, so that's why I don't know. That's why I lost, but still, I'm gonna take Buffalo with the points as well. I'm pulling for I'm pulling for your Giants to keep it close, man. I really am. It's just hard for me to.
It's hard. I don't blame you, man.
It's crazy that is worse than Panthers Dolphins.
I know. It that just shows how bad the Giants have been.
Well, it's like Panthers only have a win, and the Giants.
I want to look the stat up. Maybe I will real quick. I don't think we haven't scored since like an offensive touchdown since like 10 minutes left in the third quarter against the 49ers.
You might not be wrong there.
It's been like 120 minutes, which is I don't even.
You didn't score an offensive touchdown against the Dolphins. You didn't score any touchdowns against the Seahawks. You might.
Something wild.
Matt Breida, third quarter. 10 minutes left in the third quarter, he scored a touchdown.
Yeah,
against
how could I not take the four? Like the Bills have to win by 14.
Yeah, dude. Sorry, but they do. Last
not a
one
good year for my football squad.
Last one Monday night. Cowboys head to LA to take on the Chargers. Cowboys are a 2-point favorite.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Cowboys 2.5-point favorite in LA.
That's a tough one.
It really is because the Cowboys obviously just got embarrassed on Sunday night. Micah Parsons seems to think that they're gonna. It's kind of a revenge game too, in a sense, because of Kellen Moore being there, and I know Mike McCarthy wants to prove that he doesn't need Kellen Moore, even though it's kind of looked like he does. And Brandon Staley. Now that I can talk about him because I didn't want to waste time earlier, his decision making kind of just is,
Well, we saw that. What was it last year that all he had to do was tie, and then 2 years ago. All he had to do was tie, made the playoffs.
Yeah,
just dude, make the playoffs.
Then he went forward on fourth down on like their own 20-yard line this year. Just. I'm thinking Sean Payton wishes he would have waited a year to come back to coaching because maybe he'd be there with Herbert. But we won't get into that. That's another topic for another podcast. But I am going to take the Chargers, even though I don't like this pick. I could easily see Dallas bouncing back. But I'm going to go Chargers, and I'll take them with the points. I'll take plus 2.5.
Okay.
Obviously.
Yeah, I think the over-under for this one was 51. I just had to check. I feel like it's going to be over. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game.
Yep.
Like I said, Cowboys. Damn it. It's like, what Cowboys team is going to show? Because, I mean, they've played fine against the bad teams. But
exactly.
I mean, they lost to the Cardinals, and then they got destroyed by San Francisco. It is a revenge game for Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy, technically, because they both kind of want to prove to each other that, I don't need you. I'm gonna go Chargers. I'm I'm gonna ride with you too. I'm gonna go Chargers, and I think they cover. I think they win outright, and they beat Dallas easily. So I think I'm gonna go Chargers with the points there too. So, man, that was fun. It's kind of like a lot of headlines in those games because your Giants, my Colts, Gardner Minshew, just a few just off the top of my head. Now, let's talk about the website, Football Alliance.
Yeah.
Tell everybody about this website. Tell them what they need to know, everything that goes into this website, because you guys have had this website for a while, haven't you?
Yes, we have. Started with my business partner Mike about 4 years ago now. At first, we were like an affiliate of USA Today, and we have a huge network of pages on Facebook, and that's kind of how we got our start. And we were publishing their content and making money off that just by driving traffic to their stuff, which was able to fund us building our website. But basically, we've had so many issues on Facebook, and it's kind of hurt our reach in that realm. So we wanted to make our own kind of Facebook for football, where you're not seeing baby pictures, you're not seeing engagements, you're not seeing what Johnny ate for lunch on a random Tuesday afternoon at 1:30. You're strictly getting football. So what we've done is kind of build this site into all sources from around the web are automatically coming to our site. So if you go to your Colts page, you're going to see stuff from SB Nation, you're going to see ESPN, you're going to see CBS, you're going to see the random YouTube podcasts that have everything to do with the Colts, and you're going to see it all in one feed. And those links will automatically bring you to the original source, unless it's like a video. If it's a YouTube, you can watch the YouTube video within our site. So basically what we're trying to do is build a football community and have a kind of a one-stop shop for all your football needs, whether it's fantasy, team news, you name it. I mean, we have it on there. Canadian football, XFL, now that those two are merging, the USFL, high school football. We want the entire football community to be on our website. And the great thing about it is too, if you're looking for an opportunity, you can sign up for the website and you can immediately start writing and actually make money writing for us. You go on there, we have an article up that kind of explains the whole process. We want to share our ad revenue with users. And even if you're not a writer, you can come on there and make money just by sharing the articles. As long as you're logged in, you share it. It has a unique tracking code, and every day you'll get a report of kind of what views your posts are getting. And then we pay you out at the end of the month. So it's a unique concept that I really don't see anybody else doing. And what better way to get all of your news just by having one feed with sources from all the places you go to anyway. It kind of just makes everything streamlined, and we're hoping that more users come on here this football season.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like this at all. You guys presented this to me. I was like, I have never seen anything like this. I haven't seen anything explained to that. So it's great too, because like you said, it's football. Any leagues, it's there. I think again, football is the number one watch sport in the U.S. It's what people, when football season's over, like everyone's crying because there's no more football. And I know like USF, is it going to be USFL, XFF, or what do they call that league when they merge it?
I don't even know what they're called. I know they just merged, so I think they'll probably call it the XFL. I would think.
Me too.
But yeah, at least we'll have that potentially. So
yeah, I mean it's great. Now, do you guys have like social media? Where can they find your social media as well?
So we're at Football Alliance on X or Twitter, and then our biggest pages on Facebook it's called NFL Draft Coverage by Football Alliance. That's where we kind of post all of our news. I know it's kind of sounds draft centric, but we have over 450,000 people on that page. So we're able to distribute. Well, we were able to distribute a lot of our stuff through that, but our distribution has been reduced on Facebook. And then we also have one of the biggest college football pages on Facebook as well. It's just college football, and it has our logo there. And then on Instagram at Football Alliance as well. And TikTok as well. So
freaking Facebook reducing your guys'
Yeah.
stuff, man. What the heck, dude? Can't. I mean, I don't even have a Facebook anymore, but still. What the
yeah,
heck?
it's super frustrating because we were on a level where we were about to kind of break through,
Yeah.
and it just kind of we're still right there, but we could have been a lot closer if it wasn't for Facebook. Just put it that way. Yeah.
Man, this was fun. I thoroughly enjoyed this, Jeff, man. It was
Such a blast, man.
It was such a blast. And anything else you want to say before, I let you go, man? The floor is yours. Anything you want to plug or anything out there at all, man? Let me know.
I mean, just great connecting with you again. I know it's been a while. I definitely want to do this again very soon. I'm trying. You wore number 18 in high school, right? You were trying to be Peyton Manning.
Dude, so here's my thing with that. I wore 18 through my junior year, and then the spring game, going into that game, we played Mariner, and I think that was the second year of those new jerseys that they've got for us. No, it was the third year, sorry, but they never made an 18. Like the 18 was gone for those for the varsity jerseys. They were gone. So because of that, for that game, for the Mariner game, I was going to wear 19 because I was like, well, one up, whatever. And then Charlie Kennedy, his dad, was like, because Charlie was dressing for the game. He was going to be quarterback. He's like, hey, can he have 19 because he's dressing? And I was like, yeah, I don't care. So there was 81. So I had to wear that my senior year, 18 backwards, whatever.
Yeah.
And former Doug Miller, RIP Doug Miller.
Oh,
yeah. He wore that number. He was the first one to wear that number at our school. I'll never forget. He was a great player too. But yeah, I wore 81 my senior year at receiver, and I wanted to be Peyton Manning. I couldn't do it, man. I could not.
You turned into Dallas Clark or Brandon Stokely,
Yeah. I'll take Stokely. Stokely, man, he was the slot man. Like he invented the slot position.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like that was high school days, man. I always just like remember the days that we had. Remember the bonds that you formed. I think high school football is so underrated for the bonds that you form. Like like the bonds you form, you just can't replicate. I know, especially now with college, you can't build those bonds in a lot of these places because they're transferring so much. NFL, it's about money. High school, it's like, dude, the bonds are formed.
Well, speaking of bonds, in my groomsmen, I have Sal Tumbarello, Danny Diaz, Jeff Siphon, Carl St. Hilaire.
Carl, how's he doing?
He's doing amazing. I'm going to see him Saturday. So just those guys I've built long-lasting relationships with, as you just pointed out, and they're all going to be in my bridal party. So it's kind of cool that that's coming full circle too, and they get to experience my big day.
Dude, that's what's up. I remember you guys were always close in high school too. I mean, it's like you said, that bond still is still going on to this day because you're 32.
Turned 32 in December. I was actually I should have been in your grade, but
that's right.
My parents started me early in New York, so I was always the youngest. So I was actually 16 my senior year, playing that whole year. So
I remember, I think me and you and Kyle were talking, and I think Kyle was older than, and he was. I think
Kyle's older than me. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we talked like Kyle's the oldest one. Yeah. We're a year younger or a grade younger than you. That's pretty sweet, man. And I remember actually him. We went to where we go? Not Kyle, but we went to North Carolina for like a ski trip in my college, like FGCU. FGCU. We went there and we took a little ski trip there. And it turns out Kyle and I were at like the mountain, like skiing, like snowboarding, whatever. We were there at the same time.
Oh wow!
Because he posted something. I think he posted something on social media, and this is like probably 9-10 years ago. I think. God, it's a long time. Probably 9. And I was like, "Oh shoot, I'm there, dude!" And I tried to reach out to him, like, "Hey, I'm there," but there's like no service in the mountains, so I don't know how he posted it, but I just didn't get a chance to go see him. But it was
man.
So I was there with Kyle. And, I was there with Kyle. But yeah, man, no, this was great, man. It was always fun catching up and with any old teammates, really. And it's always fun. But would love to do this again.
Let's do it, man.
If you listen, if UCF beats Oklahoma, I'm gonna have you back on, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
I will be the happiest. I'll wear my UCF jersey or my polo. I'll have another hat on.
How many jerseys do you have?
I actually only have one,
okay.
which is kind of a bad fan, but we'll see what happens tomorrow because we're releasing our space uniform tomorrow. So I'm always intrigued by those. I would probably buy all of them, but my fiance would probably not like me if I did that. So we'll see how that one looks tomorrow. Maybe that'll be my my next UCF jersey. So we'll see.
I know my lady, she I actually did a little like minor league baseball tour. I had different minor league baseball teams on my show, and they all sent me a hat. I was like, just to wear on the podcast, wear on the episode, just kind of promote them. So I have at least, this is not one of them. Actually, this was a gift, and this is the Western Michigan Whitecaps. Anyways. I have like 15 different hats. So every time I'm like wanting to buy a different one, she's like, no. I go, why? She goes, because we can't spend the money on the hats. I go, I didn't spend any money on these hats.
Yeah.
Like I spent $0. And then, and it's not even like bad hats. These are like the new era fitted hats. So
yeah, it's awesome.
It was it's pretty sweet. And all these teams I'm like, I didn't even know they existed, but it was pretty cool to do. Because my thing was like promoting minor league baseball and be like, I want these teams to get recognition because minor league baseball leads to majors and no one really pays attention to the minors. So that was a big thing for me. But yeah, man, this was fun, man. I enjoyed this. And and one last thing I want to say, the UCF Citronauts jerseys, the Citronaut logo and the space jerseys, fantastic. Like I love the space jerseys.
Yeah, look out for tomorrow. We're going to release our one for the game against Oklahoma State in a couple of weeks. So keep an eye on that. I'm sure you'll see me retweet it.
I'm looking forward to it, man. Awesome. Well, again, he is Jeff Schmidt, VP of the website Football Alliance. Jeff, thanks you again, man. I appreciate this.
Thank you, Ryan.